The third point of the 12 personnel and the power run game and play action game, red zone creativity and production. Take us through what we have with this group and what we're going to see in these clips.
Well, the Browns have been so good. So if you look here, right, this is just a really good shot, little stick knob by the tight end, really good throw by Pickett. So all these guys can make the throws. This is during early camp. This is when they put, they had Hunt at tailback and they got that +1 in the run game, which is really hard to stop because you have an extra hat. Then you just get physicality. You're going to see the down block. You're going to see the backside guard pull. That's what the Browns, that was a power play, simple two-back power play. And what the Browns really need to kind of get back to in the red zone is that's where Kevin Stefanski's creativity for me comes. If you look back when Baker was here, and they had a couple years where they were just so good in the red zone because of their creativity in both 12 and 13 personnel. But creativity with the running backs, creativity with the formations, creativity with play action, all that kind of stuff Kevin Stefanski's really good at. They have to get back to that and be really good in the red zone. This is the year where they always have to get points because their defense is going to be really good. But it's key when they get inside that 10-yard line. They got to try to score touchdowns as much as they can. I know that sounds simple, and everybody's trying to score touchdowns. But you score touchdowns in the NFL by being creative and kind of getting off what you do. And one thing I've learned, because I consistently learn things when I'm down there, is that third down and red zone in the NFL are completely different than in college and high school. Meaning offenses change their philosophy, what they do, how they do it, personnel groups, etc. So the Browns, when Kevin Stefanski's at his best, it starts with the power run game play action. Then it goes to that 12 and 13 personnel, and then it finishes with being really creative, kind of powerful, but also kind of gimmicky and creative down in that red zone, scoring touchdowns.
The other thing, when we think about it, the backs, both of them are good in goal line situations, being the rookies. Judkins, Sampson is a smaller guy than Judkins. He's not small, but he's a guy that scored like 18 touchdowns in the SEC last year.
Well, I think, obviously we said it before. Losing Nick Chubb is never good, but now you have two backs that are big. First, and I've said it before with you, Judkins is such a thick lower body, and Sampson's really a patient. He gets up in there. But there's a guy, they have some, Pierre Strong's another guy, right? He runs really hard. He could be a guy they count on down in the red zone. So he'll be fresh. He can get down there. He's not a guy who's going to hit a home run all the time, but he might be a guy that's a good red zone runner. And then you have Jerome Ford, who goes back to his third down strength. So they have some guys in that backfield that now they have depth, now they have roles. And I think Pierre Strong is a guy that could be a guy along with Judkins and Sampson and Ford, but he might be a guy that gives them a little energy because of his freshness, and he won't play that much, that they can count on down the red zone. They have to count on everybody on offense because they are limited with some of their skill spots and some of their guys that get easy yards. So look for these guys to be pretty good in the red zone. I'm excited because there's nothing better as offense coordinator when people tell you that you're not very good. You either got to prove them right or prove them wrong, and that's kind of where the Browns are at right now.
The other thing is they know what they want their identity to be. I don't think we could have identified that a year ago. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you, I couldn't tell you what their identity on offense was last year.
Well, you and I have talked for a number of years now, and you and I have talked through the whole tenure of Deshaun Watson. And for a while, we both kept talking about ad nauseum in terms of what are they trying to do? And I understand they were trying to maximize Deshaun Watson, but by doing that, they lost their identity. And you and I have talked. You would ask me, what did you think they were trying to do this week? And I would say, I don't know. You're right. And I don't know what their scheme was. I don't know what their what their philosophy was. And I think you go back when you have an identity, and I've said this before, it doesn't mean you're automatically going to be successful. It just means you can fix what you're doing wrong. And I think that's where the Browns are. They're going to go down swinging with what they do really well. I expect the Browns to be highly competitive because they now have an identity on both sides of the ball. I think their kicking teams are going to be, special teams and kicking is going to be very good. Their punter is outstanding. He'll help that defense. And well, like I said, when you're backed into a corner, you prove them right or prove them wrong. You prove everybody that they're right when they say you're not very good, or you prove them wrong. So I think the Browns will be excited. I think they'll play with a chip on their shoulder, and I think that's a good thing. I'm hoping to see that in practice with these guys when they get after each other, especially during 11-on-11 drills.